It's April 4th. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's after show for WWE Raw, the Raw after WrestleMania, coming to you now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one I picked.
Phenom. I love it.
Yep.
Oh, feel it. Hashtag Raw after Mania. Oh, I'm Markeia McCarty. Welcome. AFTERBUZZ TV, WWE Raw, hashtag Raw after Mania. I'm here. Talk to us at Markeia McCarty, MarkeiaMcCarty. And oh my goodness, you know, Tyler and Johnny couldn't make it, but I've got a lineup for you today. Christian, tell them about yourself.
What's going on, guys? Been here a few times. My name's Christian Cole. You could follow me on Twitter or don't. Doesn't really help at all for me. I do my thing anyway.
Yeah.
I want to talk about this dude right here. They know me. I've been here a few times.
Oh, I know. Christian, WWE, Paragon Pro Wrestling, but right next to you, please introduce.
He's still dancing from before.
That AJ song is hype.
It is good.
Loving that shirt. I think that tells us a little bit about who
Scorpio
you are.
Skizzle. I want to get in the club with that AJ song. I like that.
That's right. We've got Scorpio Sky here. You know, from WWE, from PWG, from TNA. Oh, you've got all the initials.
And now AFTERBUZZ.
Now, AFTERBUZZ TV.
Scorpio Sky of AFTERBUZZ.
That's right.
And we also
Thank
have
you.
George Hermoza, fellow AFTERBUZZ host, who has been here this entire WrestleMania weekend, bringing it to you.
That's right, an honorary Bullet Club member.
Iron Man right there.
Yeah,
And George hosts the Lucha Underground, or helps with the Lucha Underground.
I mean,
too.
I
You're
mostly
all over
cover
AFTERBUZZ, dude.
I mostly do the pay-per-views for sure.
Yeah.
And then the UFC ones as well with my boy J10. We all know
J10.
J10.
Absolutely.
What up to
Nice.
Sky
J10?
has fought for J10 several times at U of MMA.
What
and
up,
shoot
J10?
MMA fights, like some good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And it was undefeated for quite a long time, 2-year run. You know.
I do my best.
Oh
You
my
do well.
goodness. I love this is the best possible lineup we could have for this best possible Raw. I mean, they started it right out with Vince McMahon. You know, the chairman comes out and he kind of looks a little bit, he's like, oh, okay. You know, Shane did what he did. You know, well, you know, hate him, but yeah, I kind of respect him for the jump, the leap. That, and, you know, I saw my grandkids. And then Shane comes out sporting a huge shiner, but walking, which I'm surprised about, and shakes Vince's hand.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. And it just seemed like there's familial, just, you know, it just came over both of them. And then Shane got to do Raw for today.
As we clearly saw with the stipulation, it's like the stipulation was if Undertaker wins and Shane won Raw, they were going to find a way to incorporate Shane still at some point during the show.
Yeah, I mean, they did it right from the top. I mean, you have a crowd that's hot, a crowd that like absolutely bleeds professional wrestling. The one time a year, they're going to be super charismatic and almost take over the show to a disruptive point. And the first person you introduce is Vince. It's perfect, right? Vince comes out, Shane's out there, and immediately it was awesome. My favorite part, other than when he talked about how seeing his grandkids brought him a tear to his eye, which was 100% shoot genuine, which was cool to see Vince say that, was when he kind of just was like, all right, I'll give you a shot. And he just goes to the back, And so even though Shane lost to Taker, we still get to see every fan's dream to see Shane take over Raw for one night. So it was cool to me.
I mean, they kind of didn't really imply if it was just for one night too. They were like, oh well, I'll give you Raw. Like,
true.
I guess maybe tune in next week. But I'm kind of curious what they're going to end up happening. Maybe he's the reason why a lot of these NXT talent are here. Obviously, we're going to see the Vaudevillains on SmackDown.
Very cool to see. Obviously, we'll talk about it as we go along with this conversation, but Shane's presence was felt throughout the show. And they did put it over verbally, which was very cool as well.
Yeah. I mean, and later on, we hear like, oh, this is just temporary. But is it? Because I think it worked for tonight.
It did. It sure did.
And it goes right into our first tag team title. We just started off with a tag team title. The New Day versus League of Nations. So we got a rematch going on there too, where it's King Barrett and Sheamus facing Kofi and Big E. And oh my God, I know Did you guys love how much the crowd just loved A New Day?
Rightfully so.
Of course. Yeah, everybody does. Right?
I mean, they started chanting, they were singing Christian. I know you were feeling it.
I was feeling it. I mean, the New Day, sometimes they have a corny thing here or there that's maybe a little bit more for kids, but then they'll come out with hilarious video game references that I love. So what I love about them is they actually kind of cross over between both markets. You know what I mean? It's like they got the bright colors for the kids and the cereal and all that other stuff, and then they're out there kind of saying stuff that only real sort of underground wrestling fans know, terminology and things like that. My favorite was Christian Rosenberg, a host here at AfterBuzz, tweeted yesterday, and I know this is from Mania, but the box on the side, if you have to see the ingredients. So follow Rosenberg to see the photo. But there's a lot of ingredients, and so they had sweat and happiness were ingredients in the cereal, and then so was riboflavin, a real ingredient. So it was hilarious. But New Day is on top of the world. There's nothing going to stop them from continuing to entertain the masses.
Not only that, they can get it done in the ring.
Yeah.
So they appeal to everyone across the board.
I dug the whole Lion King thing. They're literally holding up the last booty left from WrestleMania, and then kind of the Xavier doing his thing with the whole Lion King Circle of Life thing.
Man, and I really liked with this that they were the commentators brought on the French commentators, Italian commentators. So it's just like that with the League of Nations. It was just, sometimes we can get stuck in our own world. I know I do with WWE and not seeing the outside things. That's why the debuts that happened tonight, which we will get to, just kind of blew my mind a bit.
So much good stuff tonight.
Yeah, but I love that with the tie-in with the League of Nations. So speaking of which, the match itself started very aggressive. Sheamus just completely went after Kofi right away, launching him over the top rope, and Big E actually launched Kofi over the top rope, and the Sheamus pushing Kofi in the corner, and Kofi's down and out, and he's on the ground, and then here's Xavier Woods with the last bootio, the last magical bootio.
The last bootio.
Something I love about these guys, I mean, they're great wrestlers, but they've got the character down, just like what you were saying. But yeah, it was great, and I love that they retained their title. I did not want them to lose this. George, what did you think about this match?
I liked it. For obviously, New Day is just entertainment factor, and again, the crowd just being so into them just makes me think about just last year how much the crowd not only was not into them, just didn't give a crap at all. And I was there last year for the day after Mania, and just nobody really cared.
Yeah,
obviously
not even New Day sucks at that point.
Yeah, just nobody just cared, and then just seeing just how much they've progressed in the last year, to me it's just truly amazing just how much they've just captured the audience, the heart of the WWE universe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds cheesy, but it's true.
It is true, man. They're so entertaining. I mean, they kind of got a bad start with that gimmick. I don't think they were feeling the idea of it. Then they took it over, and they did whatever they wanted to with it. And it's like watching dudes have fun on TV, watching these guys really love what they do.
Infectious.
It's the best, man. I mean, if you're at work and you kind of have a bad attitude, people will see you, especially as an actor or a wrestler. On TV, you have to be happy with what you're doing, and they became happy with it, and now hit the ground running.
I'm not gonna lie, even though I'm at home watching it by myself, I'm like, it's the New Day.
Yeah,
all the time. I'm not even gonna lie.
It's like you said, they enjoy what they're doing, and that is why it's so good, because they are invested and they believe in it. And if they believe in it, this is what they always teach us on the pro wrestling side of putting on the show. If you believe it, they'll believe it. If you don't believe it, they won't believe it. So these guys believe in themselves, and that is why they are so good at what they do.
I think also as well, we see it a lot with the Table for Three, or a lot of the Media Row interviews, where they all said, hey, they were kind of more good acquaintances, but I was like, hey, let's do this thing, and they really started doing everything together. They rode together, they did everything together, and they really captured the vibe and the chemistry to the point where even watching a Table for Three with them is so insanely entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really ties in with what Christian was saying, with what you just brought up, Sky, with how, if you believe it, then they believe it. Then, of course, yes, that's where we get those video game characters from. That's where we get Dragon Ball Z from, because that's the core of what they grew up with.
Right,
it's real.
These giant nerds, and now they get to do all this great stuff in front of all these fans that believe in them.
Yep.
It's it's beautiful. It's
beautiful. And I want to mention something for the pure wrestling fans, that you alluded to it earlier, when Big E took Kofi and threw him over the top, and Kofi's feet stretched out actually cleared the top rope for that dive. that was like one of the most impressive parts of the match, to see that type of I mean, I know me and Sky were watching together, we were like, wow, I mean, incredible stuff from that team. They're just, you know, I said to Sky, what did I say? I said, when you haven't seen something in wrestling after 30 years of watching, like, that's pretty cool, you know what I mean? And they kind of been doing stuff like that, reinventing the game, you know?
Yeah, it's remarkable, really. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, and I especially liked afterwards, obviously the League of Nations are not going to be happy losers. You know, so then Sheamus gets on the mic, and then this wasn't the first time, but this is one of the many times in the night where we really feel the audience with "Are you through?" when Sheamus kind of has a little temper tantrum on the mic about how the League of Nations is the greatest of everything, and you know, we're only as strong as the weakest link. And then they gang up on King Barrett, giant bro kick, rolling him out the ring. Ouch.
Yeah.
So I guess it's allies and access at that point.
Yeah, it's tough to see Barrett take that bump and get killed like that by his teammates. I think there might be a reason. Well, I'm not sure how much longer he'll be with them. Whatever he does, if he fights MMA, if he continues with WWE, I've always been a big King Barrett fan. Just not the English accent, you know. It's from the throat, you know. It's like it's like all the way down here, and I love it. And anyway, but it was cool to see like some kind of drama between them, because it's been missing drama maybe a little bit, and then they kicked him out of the group. It was like, yeah. Scorpio.
Storyline. Well, Sky, what was your take on the Wyatts coming out to play after that? All of a sudden,
I thought it was great. You know, I was speaking to someone earlier today about WrestleMania, and it was kind of what we were talking about last night on AfterBuzz, when some people were a little upset about how Bray Wyatt came off going under to The Rock at WrestleMania. And I told them, I said, look, he's going to get that back. The next time he comes out, he's going to do something good, and it's going to be erased. You know, it's just going to be he's not going to lose anything from it. And tonight was a perfect example of that. He came back right out with his group, and they got their heat. They got their heat back 100%.
Sure did.
Yeah. I have to agree with you, because that was the most joyful Sister Abigail, so glee-filled that I've ever seen Bray Wyatt did. It was like he was Mr. WrestleMania at that point.
Yeah.
But we continue on where, you know, Vince McMahon, he decides to leave. He's like, oh, no, I'm not leaving because it's in good hands. I'm leaving because this will be a disaster. This is temporary. And it continues on where we actually have Summer Rae versus Sasha. I was actually kind of a little bit surprised at this matchup. I really wanted Champ and Sasha. You know, I'm willing to wait for it, but I really wanted it. But Summer versus Sasha with Summer on the mic, you actually don't get that a lot, where she's like, oh, Sasha this, Sasha that. Sasha comes out and beats that ish. Yeah,
but just real quick, Summer's promo was legit. Like, I was like really impressed with the way she was convicted in the way she was delivering and talking about, I can't even remember the content right now, but it was just so passionate and real for her. Again, you always will hear me on AfterBuzz talking about the believability of some of these talent, and she was very believable tonight, and I like that. I like when you sell something like it's, you know, life or death.
I agree.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Summer stepped up.
Yeah. It's like you said. It's not always about what you say, but the conviction behind it. You know, if you watch these interviews and these guys truly believe in what they're saying, guys and girls, ladies, women,
athletes,
superstars is the word, I believe. When they deliver with conviction and they believe in what they're doing, she had that attitude, and it was like the crowd's not liking her, and she doesn't care at all about it. And then Sasha came out. They had a great match. I love the finish. It was very smooth the way they rolled into it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about this match, George?
It was pretty good. I mean, obviously, it was more showcasing Sasha. Obviously, she had a great performance yesterday at WrestleMania. So I feel like, you know, especially with the way they're going with the direction of the women's division, not the Divas, the women's division now.
Thank you.
They're probably going to start, you know, I mean, I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with Sasha now, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing Summer Rae wrestle a little bit more. Got to see her tussle a little bit with Sasha. Loved how Sasha was able to just slide right under that high kick by Summer. Like, ooh, okay, this has some possibility in the future.
Yeah, it bodes well for some of the ladies who weren't necessarily part of this wrestling revolution in the women's division to actually stay and keep up. That says a lot. Like, you know, you were in the company before this whole thing started, and now the girls are coming and challenging you, you're keeping up. And of course I'm talking about Summer Rae, but even like Lana's appearance yesterday, and she was solid, and like they're bringing the whole division up with them. It's not just about Becky and Charlotte and
Becky, Charlotte,
Bailey, or whoever, Sasha.
Yes.
It's about all of them, and it's cool. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Scorpio could tell us all about it, about how when you wrestle with somebody and they set that bar so high, then all of a sudden you have to set the bar even higher. I mean,
absolutely, it's competitive greatness, and when you get around great performers, it's contagious. The only thing you can do is become a better performer yourself, and that's what we're seeing with this Divas revolution into the women's division they have.
Yeah. Now, and continuing on, I love how you just said that. And then we get a shout out to Apollo Crews. It's like Apollo Crews is in what? And then yes,
Shane McMahon.
It did just kind of come out of nowhere, because it was literally like, because at least last year I know they did the same thing with Neville, but at least you saw like a video vignette first, and then like 3 seconds later, I was like, oh, by the way, he's next.
Yeah, boom. There he
but
is.
as I was like, oh, by the way, coming up next is the NXT superstar Apollo Crews. I thought it was a little underwhelming. Still excited to see him. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, you know, he's great. It just it was just weird how just kind of like, oh, by the way, he's next. Like, oh.
Yeah, I wanted, and to maybe speak to your point, George, I kind of wanted a moment where there was a rub or sort of a endorsement from Shane to, like, it would have been cool if they were together. Like, hey, you know, I'm here tonight, and you're the one who's going out there because I'm saying it. Like, there wasn't that connection on screen. If you're gonna have Shane own Raw, have him like send Crews out.
Yeah.
But I mean, Crews killed it, so it's like it still makes Shane look great. You know what I mean? And
I agree with you.
Awesome.
I agree with you. It would have been nice to have a little bit more backstage. Shane pulling the strings of what's going on.
They had like a really quick thing with Shane talking to Apollo Crews, but there was no audio.
There was no audio.
Yeah,
and he was already in his gear. Right.
Exactly.
And it would have been cool if maybe it was a little bit earlier. Maybe he goes up to him and he's like, "Hey, you got your gear. You know, get it on. You know, you're on tonight. You know, like it wasn't planned.
A little cayenne
a little bit of story, but we're being a little nitpicky. It's all right. The important thing was he was on the show.
I like that. Spice in the dish.
Because I think like a little 1 or 2 liner can just tell so much of a big of a story. All he had to do was like Shane saying, you know, there's still a lot of guys in town. You know, you never know who I might bring on. Quick 2-second line. You know, we'll fix everything.
And out comes Scorpio Sky.
I don't know about that.
But we did have Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze. Can I say, oh my God, I love Tyler Breeze's character. I just want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's perfect. I love that he you know, pushes that button. But yeah, and the Raw debut of Apollo Crews, and the moment that he came out, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the moment that he came out, his face, when he saw the crowd and the crowd saw him, and his name is right there in the back, and it's dreams come true. It was amazing. And then he's right there into the ring, and he's smiling so big, and I popped.
The $1
right
million
there
smile.
Yeah, he's got that smile.
He got a great smile.
Oh man! And then he just popped right up on the top rope. Roar.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of those vignettes that he did right before his NXT debut in Brooklyn, just kind of talking about his background, like, you know, just I'm as big as a fan as anyone else, just, you know, living the dream. And I thought of that. I'm like, you know, now it's even more special to be in front of Raw, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the match itself, I mean, starting off with grappling, and then I was just astounded by backflips. I particularly loved when Apollo Crews threw Tyler Breeze in the air, caught him, and then slammed him down on the mat. And then he did a gorilla press where he just picked Tyler up like dead weight, held him, and then tossed him like he was garbage, and then did a somersault, stretched out, boom. I mean, I loved it. And then he ended it up with a spin out power bomb. It's like this. I mean, I thought I would have loved for it to go longer, but I enjoyed it.
It was perfect. You didn't. You don't want to give them too much. Okay. This is just a taste of like, hey, here's a little Apollo Crews to the fans here. But you only get to taste it though.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you know, when your mom's you know, doing the cake, they let you lick the bowl, but you can't eat the pie or the cake. Yeah, you just get a taste.
Those are the days.
I told Christian while we were watching, I said that was the perfect debut, little showcase, very short. He goes in, great performance. Everything is very smooth, and the crowd loved it. I'm excited to see him again.
And Christian, how about you? I know you know some backstory with Apollo Apollo Crews. And
yeah, my thing with Crews is like it's real short and simple. I mean, Crews's smile is the $1 million. That's the money in Apollo Crews, right? So tonight it wasn't that it was produced, it was real, but they were like, let's put him on Raw. He'll probably be happy, and that'll sell him to everybody, and that's what he does. He's just super. I think Crews is just that guy that he could be like the next type of John Cena, that positivity in my opinion. So we'll see what the company does with him, but so far so good. That's as long as he keeps smiling, people will believe in his smile.
Ooh, that is a strong statement.
Yes.
I think I would love that.
Does he not appeal to the? Was that you, Jimbo, in the ear?
I was gonna say, Sky, did you ever have a chance to work with Wuhan Nation
I was just gonna say I'm going to the dentist tomorrow because all this smile talk. Maybe I need to improve mine or something. No, we didn't get a chance to. There's so many guys I kind of missed.
His career was like pretty much in Japan for most, where he made his name.
I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't too familiar with his work. Like the first match I ever saw him was in NXT,
right?
But I'd heard of him, but obviously not.
You
the
can't
same
forget
level.
a name like Wuhan Nation.
Exactly, I'd heard of him, but not because I guess maybe more PWG.
Right.
I'm more familiar with that kind of indie crowd, but yeah, he never. I'm assuming he never came to PWG, right?
He came from a spaceship and was dropped off here.
I don't think he's ever. Yeah, he ever came out
twice.
Oh, did he?
James?
2 times.
Definitely after my time.
Twice.
James would know if anyone.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Facts from Jimbo.
Once against Brian Cage, and I want to say Ricochet or ACH.
Him and Brian Cage would be cool.
Him and Brian Cage was a great
I'm
match.
sure that was incredible.
Him and Ricochet. Anybody in Ricochet.
Ricochet is.
I just know that I loved to see in one athlete not only that brute strength, but that agility and charisma. It's like, whoo, okay, I'm willing to see more. But yeah, as it continued on, it was a very quick little segment, but it showed where Roman Reigns and Charlotte went on. Well, you can see the whole thing on today.com, but where they actually, I liked this because they actually had the women's championship. The women's champion and the men's champion going on a morning show. To me, that was a really big thing.
Absolutely. I've been telling everyone all day that I've been talking to about WrestleManias. I think what was so good about that women's title match last night was you had the feeling that it was important, that you were watching something special. And it feels like they are telling the story. They were telling you that the women's championship now is as important to the women as the WWE championship is to the men, and that's how it should be. And I love that.
Oh, I think it's fantastic.
I agree.
George?
I agree.
Yeah.
Speaking of the championship, Roman Reigns came out next.
Yeah, he definitely did. And it was Roman Reigns. Oh, and another situation where the audience let it be known loud and proud, and they were, being very passionate, I think was the term that they used.
The fans booed him out of the building when he came out. But my favorite thing from this, Markeia, was that he smiled about it and he sold it. In the wrestling business, we have a term: you sell something or sell something, and he sold that he was getting booed. And it was the first time we got to see Roman swim through the tide. You know what I mean?
I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I am the guy.
Yes.
That was the line.
Yes.
That smile, that devious smile that he has, says, "You guys boo me, but I'm the champ, dude.
Yeah.
I earned this."
And it doesn't matter if you guys boo me or cheer me, but I'm the best, and this belt represents that.
Yes.
It's not about you guys liking me or not. Yeah, I saw glimpses of just kind of like, that's the Roman I want to see.
Right.
Yes.
And here's the ironic part that I want everyone to take note of is people have been mad at Roman for being booked like Cena. He's too Cena, super Cena, all this stuff, right? But that's a kind of a Cena thing to do, right? Because he's like, you guys have your right to have your opinion. But Roman did it to me tonight in a cool way. Like, he was Joe Cool in there, and I mean, I think it could be a real new era for Roman. And we'll get to who he's facing later, but that dynamic between him and his future opponent that we're going to talk about later, that's going to be real cool.
I remember when John Cena, when he lost to Edge at New Year's Revolution, and the next day he came out, they're booing him, whatnot. He's like, you know what, I want to thank my fans, all you guys that supported me, and I just lost the belt, and the ones that don't like me, y'all can just kiss my ass. And I think that got even a bigger pop. That was like, all right, well, we didn't get them, we didn't affect them. All right, I guess I like them now,
Yeah, and then right then Jericho's music hits. Jericho comes out on the mic, AJ this, AJ that, all these idiots all around.
Did the fans really chant, "We are idiots"?
Yeah, they did. They totally did.
Hey, they were a passionate crowd, George.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then right after that, we had AJ Styles came out. Of course, he's going to answer the Jericho call. And then Kevin Owens came out. And then Sami Zayn came out. Because Roman Reigns had said, if anybody wants this belt, come at me.
And
Let's do this.
I did like the body language of Roman Reigns as well, just kind of like dude, these guys are challenging my belt. You know, these guys aren't good enough to challenge for me. Yeah,
right.
I love that.
Yeah,
the little things that you don't really notice, but you just got to pay attention to really, because it can go so far with those things.
Yep.
Yeah, you started to see some of the Roman Empire.
That's what I'm saying. You're starting to feel from him that he doesn't have a nervousness in being the guy. He's okay with it now. And that's going to be so huge for his career to own that role because they're putting him there. But I always felt like the reason he was being booed was because fans were feeling a lack of believability. They were wondering if he was ready for it. Tonight, he owned it.
Yeah, he tapped into that Xerxes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Yes.
This is Sparta.
And if you ever want to be a fan of or want a reason to be a fan of Roman Reigns, go back to last night. Ryan Katz, a former host of AfterBuzz TV and a writer for WWE, posted a video of his father reacting to his title win, and that was really cool to watch. Once you start to see those human storylines for these dudes, you stop being, booing the guys for no reason. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We all know what wrestling is. Come on. Give them some love.
Yeah, let's see where the Roman Empire will take us.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And speaking of which, she was like, okay, here we go. We have these 4 guys. They're going to challenge Roman Reigns. Oh, no, wait. They're going after their sworn enemies. So so we have Zayn going after Owens, AJ going after Jericho. They're going after each other. And then while Jericho's distracted, of course, we get just a beautiful spear from Roman Reigns onto Jericho. And the crowd is extremely passionate about it.
How hard did I mark out for that spear?
Huge.
I mentioned it like 5 times.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, he's got the best spear in the game, but yeah, that one was awesome. Great stuff.
Yeah. How'd you feel about that one, George?
Yeah, I figure like they got to follow up at some point with Jericho. I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it. I'm sorry.
It was a spear.
I mean, I figured like he beat AJ Styles, and I was like, yeah, they got to do something with Jericho. So I honestly, not surprised that Jericho did come out, and I thought I was going to set up for maybe Jericho Roman Reigns, but I kind of like where they actually ended up going with the whole thing.
Yes. And then after that, we had Reigns backstage where we get some more of Shane, where Shane's congratulating him, welcoming him. And it's like, hey, you know what? Those 4 guys, they're going to have a #1 contender match. And that's going to happen. That's our main event today. And I'm like, thank you, Shane. And that was fantastic for me. How did you guys feel about that? You knew that was coming, didn't you?
Yeah.
You knew it. Okay, well, speaking of amazing things, this show is brought to you for free. It is ad-supported, so with things like DraftKings Buzz Live. The first golf major of the year starts this week. You can play 1-week fantasy golf for free at DraftKings.com. What you do is you just pick 6 golfers before tee off on a Thursday morning. You have to stay under the salary cap. There's tournament finishes, but you basically outscore the competition. That's how you win. If you're a master at golf or you haven't really tried it, you just want to try a new fantasy sport, then this can just bring this to a whole new level with you. DraftKings has more than fantasy golf, obviously. You're probably pretty familiar with it. And you can choose a variety of sports that showcase your winning skills. And it isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. So not only that, if you hurry to DraftKings.com now and choose your golfers, you can play for free with promo code BUZZ. So enter promo code BUZZ to play for free now on DraftKings.com, and that's DraftKings.com.
Word.
Yes.
To have a credit from all my DraftKings winnings. I have like $20. That's great.
Yeah, which takes us into another debut for WWE Raw, where we have the Andre the Giant champion for 2016, Baron Corbin, who I did not know a lot about, but I hear he's a big NXT person and an ogre of a man. I know that. So it was him versus Dolph Ziggler. When I saw just the 2 of them standing, I was like, oh, this is just a hobbit and an ogre. I mean, I already know how this is going to go. And this match, wow, with just like Baron Corbin, I loved his character or his old end of days. My arrival signals the end of days for anyone who stands in my way type of thing. I always love that kind of thing, that Bray Wyatt, Undertaker kind of a thing. But it seemed like when the match started, they were just kind of feeling each other out. testing things. But as soon as Dolph Ziggler pretty much did a drop kick to Baron Corbin's face and he just stood there, I was like, oh wow, this is bad. What did you think about this match, Christian?
I'm a huge fan of Dolph Ziggler, so we got 10 minutes, says Jimbo. I'm a huge fan of Dolph Ziggler, and I like that they fought in the crowd. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, I like Corbin. I think he should speak less because I think he's a guy who just action should probably do more than whatever talking he's done. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that Ziggler didn't take the fall, if anything. So kind of maybe it's like I said, who knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it was just a double count out, and I loved how Corbin was like to the ref, "Whatever happens, this is on you." Like to whatever happens to Dolph.
Yeah, he blamed it on the ref. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I had an end of days on the outside of the ring. It was nice. Compact, but it got it done.
Yeah.
You know who Baron is now.
Oh, everyone knows who he is now, for sure. Yeah.
And continuing on, oh my goodness, we got another title match. It's like, what? What is this?
This was heartbreaking.
Oh, ooh, all the feels.
So I know Jimbo can hear everything we're saying. It's going to take everything in Jimbo's power not to cry his way onto this broadcast because Zack Ryder is his favorite wrestler.
What are you about to say right now?
No. I just know that Zack Ryder is your absolute favorite wrestler in the world. You wore a Zack Ryder shirt on the show for WrestleMania Recap yesterday. Zack Ryder's awesome, and we all know how the segment ended. He lost his Intercontinental Championship less than 24 hours after he picked it up, and Miz is your new champ.
I did think it was kind of weird that a lot of what Zack Ryder was saying was like, this is the greatest moment of my life. This is, what I have my WrestleMania moment. It's like, not once did he ever say anything about now he needs to defend the belt. He needs to, have a cool title reign. It was all about the moment. I was like, I feel like he's probably going to lose it on Raw. I just wish it was against someone else than The Miz. But I did like the gorgeous Maurice comeback.
Oh, man, that was my favorite moment, too.
She is just flawless.
Yeah,
I got to tell you guys, speak to this real quick, though. If we do put the belt on Miz and then Ryder, the babyface, chases him, that's worth more money, right? So
of course,
if the fans are still hot on Ryder next week to get his belt back, he got screwed over. Yeah. Now we see the babyface chase. We're buying tickets for that. So
the money is in the chase.
Really tough to see him lose.
We saw the same thing with Daniel Bryan and see how that turned out.
Nobody pays to see the prom king and the queen. You pay to see the guy chasing the girl at the bar and trying to buy her drinks and trying to get dances and she's blowing him off. That's what you pay to see. Yeah. That's what's entertaining.
That's what you pay to see.
Real quick before we move on to the next segment,
my Friday night.
Real quick before we move on, who's buffer, Vince McMahon or Zack Ryder's dad?
Buffer, more swole.
Swole.
I thought you were asking who's a better ring announcer, like Michael and Bruce Buffer. But, yes, Shane is looking insane, like six-pack abs, biceps, everything.
Yeah.
But so is Zack Ryder's dad, Superman.
Yeah, and then plus he had that Superman thing, so just like, subconsciously, I'm like, oh yeah, he's a Man of Steel.
He had that Superman strength too. He pushed him down with one hand.
Yeah. when he tapped that S, there was no gift, there was no flap. And for those that didn't know, there was a distraction by what's her name? Maurice, Miz's wife, which the Miz ended up doing a skull-crushing finale.
Yeah.
and got
broke
that
America,
title.
or really the world's heart when he took the belt back from him.
But like I said, even with that said, nothing can ever take away from Zack Ryder's moment.
I agree.
So that's...
It reminds me of Christian, the wrestler from 5-6 years ago. He won the world title, and a week later.
Yeah.
So you pull it out, pull the rug from underneath us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nah, it's okay. That's why we keep watching.
Yeah, and then we sadly got backstage segments with Renee with the Fatal 4-Way contenders, and Renee was with Kevin Owens. He was singing Shane's praises, which great, and that he's going to destroy the Roman Empire. Hey, power to you. Continuing on, we actually got the women's championship, the unveiling for it. Lita had that with the belt. Of course, Charlotte got to have her say on the mic, and this was another moment. The audience had everything to say, but they also started chanting women's wrestling. Women's wrestling. So I love that.
I mean, I wouldn't have chanted, but I was expecting Bayley to come out, so I kind of see where they were coming from. But I did like that they were finally chanting women's wrestling and pretty much appreciating what has become from the Divas now to the women's division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It continued with Charlotte showing her ash-ish.
Showing her what?
Showing her ish.
Oh, showing her ish, okay.
Where she has some facts to say where like, oh, you ladies, you've been here 7, 8, 10 years. I'm here a year and I'm women's champion.
That was the best line for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that was fantastic. Where it's just Sasha's the first one out. all the other ones leave. Like, we are not going to put up with this. Where Natalya stays and she's like, you know what you need? You need humility, because I have the history as much as you do. So let's have this out right now.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, how did you feel about this?
Get it.
And they started tussling. Oh, Scorpio.
Yeah, no, it was good. The classic Hart versus Flair. You know,
Yes.
this was very cool. You know, and she was the person to stand up and it, just like you said. You know, hey, I've got the same legacy that you do, and I'm not acting a fool.
That's
So
right.
you need to learn a little something. It was good. It was very well done.
If it's gonna result in those kind of matches that they had at Roadblock or even NXT around 2 years ago, I'm all for it.
Yep.
I love Natalya.
Absolutely.
She's incredible. She's a wonderful worker. So
And
I
that
would like
gear,
to see
though.
more of her.
Yeah.
Great gear.
Her gear was amazing tonight.
Yeah,
The
she's always
diamonds
looking
all
good.
around. It was cool.
Great gear.
Yeah. Well, Natalya had her in a sharpshooter, and of course, Daddy saves. So Ric Flair saved her. Continuing on, Renee had a behind the scenes with AJ Styles where he's like changes in the air, and how the WWE
Changes in
champ
the
was-
air. He's kind of got like a Bill Clinton thing going
I
on.
like that. I like that.
AJ, you like cigars?
Yeah. And then we rolled right into a very fun, very exuberant, very, oh no, I wish it hadn't ended that way, match between Usos versus the Dudleys, and it was a table match. Scorpio, how'd you feel about this? I know you've had fun with tables.
Yeah, tables are fun, but it was a weird finish to the match. I didn't quite get it, but I loved Bubba the way he was just like, he's like, now you ring the bell. Now you ring the. That's not a good Bubba impression.
That's all right.
He's like, now
pretty
you
good.
ring the bell. You know, it was just him going off, and like they went to commercial and come back. He's still screaming about it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, because the way the table match ended was basically your opponent. You guys know your
gotta
opponent
put
has to
him
go
through a
through the table. So the
We have to
Usos
put
climbed.
your opponent through the table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put your
And they
opponent
went
through the
they
table.
went through
weird.
themselves.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
And
That
then
was the
whoever
first thing,
the
yeah.
new timekeeper was rang the bell, thought it was the finish, and then Bubba like rolled his eyes and threw him into a second table and then shot. He was like, "Now you're ringing the bell."
Because that's what
There
I
you
thought. What happened was the Dudley boys were on tables, and the Usos went for splashes. The Dudley boys moved. They went through the tables, and then the
Yes.
bell rang. And that was the first thing I said to Christian. I said, "Don't you have to use an offensive move to put them through the table?"
was wondering
You
the
can
same
be
thing.
defensively, yeah. And then I thought, well, maybe the rules are changed, you know.
Like, yeah, like they
you know,
always do.
Bubba knew what was up. We were on the same page.
Yeah.
I feel you, Bub.
Yeah.
Feel you.
Were
Kudos
you
to
feeling
them.
any of this match, George? This was a lot of fun.
Let's be real. I mean, not that many people are going to remember the actual match. They're going to
No.
remember the post match.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because after we have such fun things like Devon doing a flying face nutcracker on Jay and all those other fun things,
Flying face nutcracker.
Yes, we had another debut. In this debut, oh my god, I love these guys.
This was
Enzo and
insane.
Cass,
Jeez.
and the most popular tag team in NXT. Okay. Enzo he's ridiculous on the mic. He is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this, at least see Enzo and Cash with their entrance, where he's saying things like, "I'm a certified chief and a bona fide G, and you can't teach that."
This was
really good.
insane.
He's a smack talker from way back. He's like when
lot
your
of-
cousin goes crazy on Christmas.
A lot of his zingers too were so like they were like legitimate, like funny, not like
Yeah.
cheesy funny. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that was a good one. Let's be real, that was
He
good.
had like a little bit of like Dwayne Johnson, The
Yeah.
Rock in him with the whole like just talking and jabbing and like your mama joke almost, but funnier kind of thing. And like
I almost lost
delivery
it.
is what it is.
The delivery is so good.
He is so intense.
I lost it
With
when he
the way
talked about the
gives it.
tears go to the back of his head because
Oh,
his
yeah.
face is too ugly.
yes, yeah. His energy, his bug eyes that he just was given by God, and his ability with the hairstyle and the. I mean, dude is
It's
just
like a perfect example of doing the absolute most with what you have. You know what I mean? Incredibly entertaining, man. I'm really excited. I'm actually glad they're on Raw. I had only seen them one other time on an NXT show, and actually one of my friends is another wrestler. He told me they're like the new age outlaws
Ooh,
in comparison. You know,
Yeah.
you see the
Nice.
way they cut that
Of course.
promo to
Yes.
open it up and get the crowd very
Okay.
hot. Yeah, obviously big shoes to fill, but you can see the comparison. And watching, I was just like, oh my god, why are these guys not on the main roster? They're in the epitome of entertainment.
safe to say they probably are now, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it. That's
which was
going to be
great.
they're on the roster and they deserve that spot. And I'm
Shane
really
McMahon.
hoping. Yeah, Shane hooked it up again.
Yeah, go Shane.
Damn, Shane.
Yeah.
Damn, Shane,
Do
call
you
a
think
brother.
they're going to go up against a New Day sometime?
We'll
'Cause,
see.
maybe.
It'd be a nice little back
both
and
of them
forth.
have a lot of things
My
to
hope
say
is
on
that,
the
they call up a few of those teams. I want to see a like renewed. I want this. We had the Divas, now Women's Revolution. I'd love to see the Tag Revolution,
Yeah.
where there's a ton of real threats in the tag division.
I
4 or
agree.
5 great teams, you know,
You can
or maybe
think
more. 8 great
American
teams.
Alpha.
And even
Yeah.
so, think about it real quick. Just back in the day, there were so many teams, and think about how much TV time there was, like literally 30 years ago. Now it's like you have so much more TV time. You know, you got to find room for all the tag teams,
I
too.
almost had like a little fantasy of like Tuesday night's main event switching
Yeah.
into like a tag team TV show, a TV show surrounding the tag team
I
division.
like that.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool.
It's a great
That'd
idea.
be nice. Like,
You
showcase
could write the
that,
check
Joel.
to Foothill Boulevard.
But yeah, and what a great ending line. They're like, you are one thing and I will spell it out for you. SAWFT. Soft. I was like, what? I'm glad someone had a sign with it because I was like, what?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's fantastic. I can't wait to see more of them.
Yeah.
But that brings us to our main event. Oh my goodness. Our fatal 4-way with Kevin Owens, AJ Styles, Jericho, and oh no, Sami Zayn was jumped earlier in the show by Kevin Owens when he had behind the scenes with Renee. So unfortunately, he medically could not be there. So Cesaro came in. Thank you,
in a
Shane.
suit.
Yes.
A breakaway
Sunglasses.
suit.
Back in my my fantasy writing booking days, if I was working with Cesaro, I would say, all right, I want you to watch every single Jason Statham movie out there and write down the coolest thing about his specific character, and I want you to be that. And I feel like that's what we're seeing right now. It comes out in a suit, just like a professional, and just boom, takes it off, and now it's ready to go.
I can see that. I definitely consider that. That's a very good comparison. Going back to Sami Zayn for a second, I thought the interview he cut in the back
Yes.
was really, really good. Talking about how he needs to prove that he belongs here and he belongs on top, and that as big as WrestleMania was for him, this night's even bigger because he wants to be the WWE champion. I thought it was great. And then Kevin Owens runs in and ruins it for him, power bombs him through a table. You know that's not over. I'm very interested to see where that goes. But Cesaro takes his place in the match.
Yeah, and oh my God, does he? I mean,
Oh my God.
it was just uppercut train, just on and on and on. He trying to get a swing. Kevin Owens, totally counters him, and then he gets a swing. Oh no, wait, he doesn't.
Everybody in this match was just
everything.
just
George,
on
how'd
their,
you feel about
everybody
this?
on this match was their A game. It was such a
Oh,
fun match to
man.
watch.
False finishes were great. Very good false finishes. There were a couple of times in there where they got me, and I'm a wrestler, and they got me. I'm like, oh, this is it.
Nice.
Really, really well done. Loved the match. AJ Styles, he's the man now.
Yes.
AJ
Yeah.
Styles and Roman Reigns. This is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, AJ Styles is the #1 contender. He ended up doing what was it?
Styles Clash.
Styles Clash on Jericho. So
It's good to see this move actually finish a match.
Yeah.
That's his A move. I mean, he's been using that for 15 years. Like maybe
It goes
longer.
to show too, like, don't believe everything you read on the internet, because just like a month ago, everybody was saying like, oh, the Styles Clash is banned. It's
he's
like,
not allowed to do
clearly
it,
it's
yeah.
not.
No, yeah, they wouldn't have teased it so many times. That, okay, so we've talked about the show. Show's over.
yes.
What do you guys expect from this? Like, Styles versus Reigns is, to me, the best booking they could have came up with. It's awesome because you do have your baby face that people are like sort of hating on, but is starting to come into like owning that role, and then you have the former TNA guy who's now here. No one wants to talk about it, but that's the world champ from TNA
and New Japan.
and New Japan,
champion there.
the Bullet Club. My man's got the shirt on, George, right now. Like, I mean, what do you think? What's your expectations on that, man? I think it's gonna be
love it.
amazing.
I love it. I think they're going to have really good matches. If you remember, at one point there was a big moment in the Royal Rumble with Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, and it was hot. And at one point, AJ actually got big old Roman Reigns up for the Styles Clash. So now with the new dynamic of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship being involved and Roman Reigns changing of his maybe he doesn't really care too much of what people think about him. We're going to see where that's going to go. And of course, AJ Styles, everybody loves him, deservingly so. I think this is going to be a great match for a pay-per-view.
I agree. I hope so too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
I will
it.
say, I think I'm in the minority with this, but I was a little bit underwhelmed with Monday Night Raw.
Tonight in general?
Yeah. Compared to past years, because here's the thing. I know everybody's
All
saying
these
like,
debuts,
no,
all
but here's the thing. All these things, especially with Shane coming in, I was expecting something different because every year we see new NXT debuts. What's different? We saw them in the last 3 years. We see title match change. You know, we've seen it every year. It's like nothing. I mean, it was great for what it was, but I just didn't see anything different about it.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
goodness.
Yeah, well, the crowd for me is always what sells me.
Yeah, exactly.
I listen to the crowd. And then, like, Enzo coming in, I think that squashes your argument, with all due respect, George. Like, Enzo
It was a
and
great
Cass.
episode. I just didn't see anything different as far as, like, compared to previous years.
I think
Yeah,
you
yeah.
got, like, you know, you got porterhouse. You got, like, top sirloin porterhouse
Remember I said,
tonight.
I saw the same
He
thing
wants
last
surf
year.
and turf. He's hoping for some lobster on the side.
You know what I like about the Raw after WrestleMania is, for the most part, everything's a clean slate, and it's like, now where are we going? And on the Raw after WrestleMania, they start planting the seeds. And I like the seeds that were planted. I think
Yes.
I'm very interested on what's going to sprout out of the ground and grow what's going to happen for the next year.
Me too, man, for
Yeah.
sure.
See, I see with the, it's like, and again, it was a great Raw. I didn't see anything different about Shane being in charge because, like I said, we saw NXT debuts last year. We saw it the year before. I would have rather have seen, like, and going back to what I said a few days ago, where you got to find something to tune in next week, and Dr. Phil is not going to make one of people tune in next week. But I was like, all right,
I
Shane,
disagree with you there. I got you, Phil.
It's like, I was like, all right, Shane, you know, you're gonna get Raw next week.
Yeah,
and
I
now
mean-
it's like, ooh, now I really want to see next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit because I felt more of a Shane influence and less of an authority influence with this. Because you had the NXT, and I know how you were saying like last year they had that, but I know it was a different feel. There was kind of like more of a respect thing. There wasn't anybody, you know, smacking anybody else upside the head or being like, "No, you're going to do what I say do." It's like, "Hey, dude, I'm talking to you backstage, and yeah, you're going to go out there and you're going to do that, right? Because this is what you do, and this is how we
A little
breathe.
bit
This is
of
how
a
we
different
live."
color in the rainbow on the show today. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh God, that was a.
Man, we got through that quick. I want to sit here and talk about it for more.
I know. Oh, there's so much more to talk about. You can join the conversation with us at hashtag ABTVRaw. You know, hit us up. Christian, put yourself over.
You can follow me on Twitter at XTE and Cole. Watch Paragon Pro Wrestling on Fight Network and MSG. Yeah, man. Do all that stuff. Do
Follow me as well on Instagram and Twitter at Scorpio Sky, and you'll get to follow everything that I am doing in my life.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, GHERMOZA. Like I said, keep the conversation going. I know I've already responded to a few people on the YouTube comments for our WrestleMania after show. So, like I said, keep the conversation. I know people are in the chat room are agreeing and disagreeing with me as far as what I just said a few days ago and or a few minutes ago, but.
Fantastic. And you can follow me at Markeia McCarty, MARKEIA MCCARTY. And find me on Twitter, find me on Instagram if you like pictures, because I have them there. And if you like live comedy, tomorrow I will be playing with Big Yellow Taxi in the Deaf Comedy Jam that'll be happening at the Pack Theater
Russell
in
Simmons?
Hollywood.
Russell Simmons?
No,
I'll bring my
Deaf as
hearing
in
aid.
DEAF.
Oh, can't hear you, Comedy Jam.
Yes,
Oh,
where
okay,
there will
gotcha.
be interpreters and there will be improv.
That's
Oh,
hilarious. That's
sweet.
actually
So yeah, we loved hanging out with you, and we will see you next week this time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.